Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Gift and you're welcome to Gift and Couture. So in today's tutorial, I just want to show you how I was able to transform this style from this pleated sleeve and had the net that you saw on your screen, just like what you're going to see. Yeah, just like this one. My customer choose that very style. At the end of the day, when she came for fitting, she said she doesn't like it, that it's opening her chest. Meanwhile, she's the one that actually chose the style. So let's go into the details. So the first thing I did, I went ahead to detach the sleeves, the pleated sleeves that you saw earlier, and then fold my upper part, just like what you're seeing on the screen. Fold it into two. This is the front. All right, after folding into two, I made sure I aligned the both of them. I went ahead to bring out my pattern paper and then put it just like the way you are seeing on the screen. So after I was done doing that, I went ahead to mark it, but I needed to align it properly since I already cut it. I needed it to align with the center front. So after then, I went ahead to use my marker to mark the neckline, just like you're seeing now. I went ahead to point the underbust because this is a matter of from shoulder to underbust. We don't really need the half length for the front. So I place my tape roll to mark our underbust, which is 14.5. So from there I marked the shoulder line upward. So after I was done doing that, I went ahead to divide the shoulder, a shoulder into two, which is 14.5 into two, and I marked it just like what you're seeing on the screen. So after that, I went ahead to mark the across chest. I needed to cross check it since I've already cut out everything. All right. So from there, I marked the across chest, and that was it. So after that, I went ahead to cross check a bust measurement, which I've already reduced it just because it was fitted on the upper part, and then I went ahead to mark it. Now this is the outcome of what I got since I already indicated the line. So the next thing is to go ahead and cross check the measurement if what I marked was correct. So I went ahead to place my tape rule and then try to um correct it, because since I've already cut it out, I just have to be extra careful. All right, so from there I went ahead to mark the shoulder slope, which is 1 inch. Now this 1 inch is mainly for the shoulder slope, so I will go ahead and mark another half inch, which is going to be for the joining, the shoulder joining. That means the total of what I remove for from the shoulder is 1.5. You can just mark 1.5 at once and then go ahead to do the other. So from there I went ahead to mark the neckline because she wanted something to be a little bit high. I marked 4 and I went down by 4 inch. So I used 4 for the width and 1 and 4 for the depth. So from there I went to the um neckline. Since her bust is 40, I went ahead to add the actual measurement, even though I've already gotten what I wanted, but this wasn't really necessary at the end of the day because I actually used what I marked earlier. So from there I divided the shoulder into two, the distance, and I marked the midpoint. So from there I went ahead to mark half inch and contour. So the next thing, I went ahead to cut it out and I added half inch for the joining allowance. You have to add since you are going to join um this thing into two. So from there I went ahead to cut it out. Hope you are getting it. So the next thing is to go ahead and put the back. So I brought out the back, remove losing the zip, just like what you are seeing on the screen. I didn't lose everything. I just marked it and then go ahead, just like the way I did the first one. I went ahead to measure my lines. Now you have to place it properly. Now for the front, you are going to put your tape roll. It has to get to the half length. Remember, for the front rather, we stop at the underbust, but for the front we are going to go to the half length. So from the half length you can see it was not really low, but she feel like she wasn't comfortable. You can see I only removed 5.5. All right, so it was not really low, but since she said she doesn't like it and she won't feel comfortable wearing, so what's the sense of giving her clothes that she will not wear at the end of the day? So that's the reason I help her to, though I charge her, she added money. All right, so from there I went ahead to mark the line just like what you're seeing on the screen. Since I've already gotten the length measurement, I put the cloth aside, and the next thing I did was to use the actual measurement that I got. Now remember it's 5.5, so I'll go ahead and mark the line. So after marking the line just like what you're seeing on the screen, the same method I use for the front is what I'm using for the back. So I went ahead to mark the shoulder line. Now the straight line is actually the shoulder line. The next thing I did was to connect it. After connecting it, I went ahead to divide the shoulder into two. Now I just indicated it there, shoulder. So divide the shoulder into two. Our shoulder back was, I think, 16.5. So I went ahead to mark it just like what you're seeing on the screen, and then I added seam allowance, the same measurement, 1 inch, and then half inch. So the total of what I used was 1.5. You can see half inch. So the next thing, I'll go ahead and connect it. So after connecting it, I went ahead to mark the neckline. Now the neckline is 4 inch, just like the same measurement I used. I'll go ahead and mark 4 inch, and then mark 2.5 for the back neckline, because I'm going to put loop for the buttonholes. She said she wants button at the back, so that's what I'm going to do. So I went ahead to mark it on the across back. I used the across back measurement and then mark it just like what you are seeing on the screen. So from there I went ahead to connect the lines. After connecting the lines just like what you're seeing on the screen, I went ahead to add to the measurement. I had to cross check. That's 5.5. So the next thing is just to go ahead and add half inch to it and then cut it out. After adding the half inch, I went ahead to cut it out. So this is how it looked like. So after cutting it out, I still went ahead. It's better to take to correct it on the paper than after you've already cut the net, that before realizing it. So this was what I did. I measured it again, just like what you're going to see, what you're seeing on the screen rather, and then went ahead to cut it on the net, to cut out the net. You can see it's already giving. So just place your tape rule. I went to place my tape rule like that, and then measure it to know, because our nap to waist, which is our back half length, is 15.5. all right, so and it was correct. So the next thing was to go ahead and cut the net, and this was it. So after cutting the net, I went ahead to sew it, join it. I doubled the net anyways. I went ahead to sew it, trim off the excess, and this was the outcome. So after doing that, I brought out the upper part just like what you're seeing on your screen, and then place the net on it using my pins to hold it. So in case you've been sewing corset, this method is what you use for your corset anyways, for corset that has yoke. All right, so if you follow this method, it will help you. So I'll go ahead and place it, but for corset I prefer putting the net outside, because definitely I'm going to use appliques to cover the net. But for this one that I've already sewn, I was too lazy to lose it, and I've already told her that this is how it's going to be. You get, I went ahead to use the net just like what you're seeing on the screen and place it. So instead of sewing the net outside, I decided to put it inside and sew. So the next thing, I'll go ahead and pin it just like what you're seeing on your screen. So if you've watched this video to this point and you find and you realize it's helpful, please do out to give me a like, drop a comment in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe if you are yet to subscribe. So I went ahead to pin it just like what you're seeing on your screen. After that, I went ahead to do the back as well. Though it takes time, we just have to be careful. The next was to go ahead and do the back. So for the back is still the same method, it's still the same way. All right, I didn't actually record that part. I did, but I needed to make it faster. So after doing that, I went ahead to cross check my measurement. I placed a tape rule on the underbust just to see how it's going to look like, whether it's aligned. So the next thing I did was to go ahead and fold my lining into two, because I used lining to turn the net. I marked 4.5 and then went ahead to measure, put a biceps measurement, which is 8.5. My biceps is 17, and I added 1 inch. So from there, I went ahead to contour the armhole just like what you're seeing on the screen, and when I went ahead to cross check the measurement. So from there, I went ahead, you know what I have there is 8.5, so the only thing is just to minus 1 inches from there, and then mark 7.5, and then add my seam allowance, which is 1 inch. So from there, I went ahead to measure the length of the sleeve. That means the total of what I use is 8 inches, and then I went ahead to cut it. The next thing was to go ahead and cut the net. Now the length of the net that I use is 11.5, and the width of the net is, the total of the width is 29, you get. So it's actually 29 point something that I got. And now placing the lining on the net, the difference is just 2.5. all right, so the next thing is to go ahead and sew the net. After sewing the net, I went ahead to draw the gathers, and then the next thing was to go ahead and sew the lining just like what you are seeing on the screen. After sewing the lining, go ahead and sew the net as well. After doing that, the next thing was to join the net just like the way I did on the lining, and then went ahead to sew it. So after sewing it, the next thing you are going to do, go ahead and put the lining, in case you like these sleeves. All right, this kind of sleeve, I love it. I'll go ahead and fix it like the right side to the right side, the wrong side to the wrong side, and then I'll go on my machine to sew it. One thing I would advise is, when you are sewing the gathers on the lining, try and be pushing it unless you actually draw the gathers the exact measurement. So after sewing this side, I went ahead to turn it to the other side and I started sewing. So after I was done sewing the lower part, I went to the upper part and then used the same method and sew it while pushing the gathers in little by little, just like what you're seeing on your screen. And after I was done, this was the outcome. I went ahead to bring it out. So just like what you're seeing when you are sewing, please cut out your thread, and you can see this is the lining. The lining is shorter, meanwhile the net is a bit longer. This is the outcome of everything I was doing. From there, I went ahead to fix it, and this is the outcome. I hope you love it. I hope you get something from it. See you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe.